Hello, everyone. I hope and pray that you're doing well. Advent begins this Sunday, and I imagine that this physical space will look a lot different by Sunday. There'll probably be some trees. The scene will be set to a more Christmassy lamppost, Advent candle-y kind of a scene. And during Advent, sometimes my family will hide the Advent calendar chocolates, one for each day. They'll hide those Advent calendar chocolates from me because otherwise, according to our Advent calendar, right now there would only be 3 days left until Christmas. If you've read the New Testament epistles, you think about Advent and you realize that it's clear that the early church looked ahead to the second Advent, the second coming of Christ, right? Advent is that Greek word about parousia, which literally means coming, arrival. And it usually referred to some noble person or some king into the city. And so the early church was always looking ahead to Christ's return to the world as king. I mean, somewhere in the Middle Ages, though, that kind of changed, the posture shifted, and the church started to look back during the season, and that had become called Advent. The church started to look back towards the first coming of Christ, and Advent became faith kind of gazing more in the rear view mirror. Now, surely we should and will celebrate Christmas, but sometimes in our consumer-driven culture, Christmas becomes mere nostalgia, right? Christmas itself can really overshadow Advent, right? You start singing Christmas carols way earlier each and every year, it seems, right? And so Christmas can hijack Advent, overshadow it, and this wave of sentimentality kind of floods over our faith. And Christ's coming becomes, baby in a manger cute. Even lost somehow as only a memory. So how do we recover this early tradition in the church of looking ahead? How can Advent be a corrective to Christmas nostalgia? Because I think we need to get the full picture. We need to see that Christ has come, that Christ comes today, and that in someday Christ will come fully in great glory. And so we need to be people of both memory and of hope. And by paying attention to both the first and second coming of Christ, we boost our sense of urgency and our readiness and even our delight. Advent invites this posture of surprise and trepidation, right? As I mentioned earlier, we will mark Advent in Narnia this year, looking at some events in this book, The Chronicles of Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. And our space, as I mentioned, will be different by this Sunday, and Advent is the coming of the King, and he is good, but he's not necessarily always safe, according to Mr. Beaver when he describes Aslan in The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. What Advent aims to do is to encourage us as believers to lean and to live into God's future, to live into the new creation. If that word eschatology is the proper word for describing the final events of history, then we need to learn to live in kind of this eschatological now, right? Seeking first the kingdom of God now and here, and its justice, and its righteousness, and peace, right where we live, today, here and now. And so what we hope for is we hope that Advent gives you a sense of intrigue and expectation, and we hope that your mood is shifted from mere Christian and Christmas nostalgia to Advent longing and anticipation and kingdom living hope. The peace of Christ be with you all this Advent.